sorry to hear about your father that passed away. We're sending you 5 big booms. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom. We're sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. We're sending you 5 big booms.
For your assignment that passed away. That's going to be 6 big booms right there.
Don't even get me started, Lindsay. Don't even get me started.
30 booms, 1 for each second lost.
That's how I feel about it.
Does, is it Final Cut? Yeah. Do they have autosaves at all? Like,
Yeah.
feature you can turn it on? Or?
Yeah, usually autosaves. That's why I was like, what the heck? What the heck? Whereas Tim Robinson says, what the hell? What the hell?
I changed my mind this morning to that one clip of that guy where he's like, I already bought their tickets. What? You know, that old man that's like, I changed that. This morning I turned it up to full volumes. This morning I woke up like jumping out of my body.
Honest,
and I fell off the bed. So I often hit the roof of like, or the ceiling, you know, of my room. I'm like, I hit my elbow on it. Luckily, that's when I sat up though, out of fear, not just, thank God I have some room to sit up, you know, at least.
Yeah.
My sister's my old room, so she can usually hear it, because she's right above me.
Yeah.
So.
Y'all know about the cup song. I haven't done that.
Me neither.
Welcome to No Breaks Allowed, or welcome back to, I should say. Today we have a very special show, the title of Objection, and we are going to be hosting it with the lovely help of our lawyers / defendants and our judge. And points will be given out for the winners of cases, and points will be taken away for the people that break character. But without further ado, what is the first case?
All right. First case, we are going to do the undead versus the Constitution. Does a zombie with human consciousness still have legal rights, or are they just an exceptionally opinionated corpse? Defendants. And the other one, prosecutor.
Okay.
So we're defending the zombies over here? All right.
So, according to my notes, your defendant, Tom Wilkson, you know, the zombie in question, I don't think he's very conscious, and, you know, the Constitution doesn't think he's conscious. If I'm going to be honest, I don't think he deserves the rights that other people have. If he eats brains, that's a no-go. You know, it's really difficult to say whether people and zombies can ever get along, but from my understanding.
I'm going to have to object already. I mean, you've made a lot of debatable arguments here. So you're saying that because they may eat brains that, you know, it's not good enough for you guys? Well, how do we know that brains are the only answer, first of all? Alternate what
Objection.
about-
Does your defendant eat anything else besides brains?
Oh yeah, anything else.
What else does he eat?
Well, other parts of the human body. For all we know, maybe a recently deceased person.
If
You
anything,
take those?
eating other parts of the body would make him less conscious.
If he wasn't conscious, how is he functioning very similarly as he would have when he was a human?
He was a human.
Like, sure, maybe he doesn't speak the same or act the same, but
So what does he
there's
say?
still a form of consciousness there.
Does your defendant have any stake in the matter for what he does day to day? Does he have a family? Does he interact with
Oh,
society?
sure.
What does he do
Did.
for work?
Work. Well, I think part of it comes down to, first of all, getting those rights to survive and be considered good enough to work. Because otherwise, how are they going to work if they don't have the rights to work like this?
They have the rights to work. How is he going to work if he doesn't have the rights? Well, you know,
What's your defense to that, huh?
as far as the Constitution goes, if he doesn't have the right to work, does he have the right to anything? He doesn't even pay taxes, does he?
No, how could he if he's not considered a living being?
Then he can't vote. Then he can't interact with
Exactly.
the Constitution. And
That's why they need those rights, so that they can do those.
yeah, so we're fighting. You're fighting for the rights for zombies.
Yeah,
Do
they
you have any
legal
other
rights.
examples besides your defendant
What do you mean?
for a conscious zombie that should be included under the Constitution?
Any of them.
Any of them.
Unless they're committing, egregious
You know, what about
crimes.
what about the recent cases?
Oh, which ones?
You know, the one where Timmy got eaten. You know that one in the news, don't you?
Oh, yeah, no, but there should have been more regulations. I don't think that they should go for
regulations? Okay.
any human being. I think there should be guidelines for that, right?
Guidelines.
So let's say maybe a terrible criminal, death row kind of thing.
Okay.
Maybe then. Or maybe they just died and within a few hours the body should still be viable, like a regular death, they're not turning into zombies. Why can't they take those kinds of organs and stuff or the rest of the body?
Okay.
I
So-
see that would be fine then.
But do you think they would eat unalive tissue? Do you think he?
Depends. How recent did they die? That's what I mean.
How
so
recent?
it would
How
have to
recent?
be
Have you
within
asked
a
your
certain time
defendant what
period.
his requests are?
Well, many of them prefer them fresher than just rotting on the ground.
Rotting on the ground.
Because it really depends on the circumstances of a zombie being created. So
Yes. I'm sure.
it
So.
comes down to, I guess, how viable the body still is.
Yeah. So,
Sit down.
sit.
Right, Judge, will do.
Oh.
Okay. So I feel like we got a little picky choosy there.
Circumstantial, Judge.
Yeah, it's very circumstantial, and
There needs to
I'm
be
the kind of
guidelines.
judge that likes to think big picture. And personally, not a big fan of the thought of zombies.
Right. But that's why I think that we should be fighting for regulations and guidelines so that these instances don't happen.
Right,
So that
right.
the ones that are following these rules
But-
stay in place and are deserving of those rights, whereas the ones that break the rules should be punished.
But I sadly have to give it to the Constitution.
Yes.
Because the thought of zombies is scary.
I like that point.
And that's all I got.
Fair enough. In that case,
A little biased, but I'll take it.
All right, so switching who's lawyers then?
Yes.
absolutely.
All right, so we are then going to do the Paranormal Conservation Society versus Humanity. You guys were defendants, so you're defendants now?
All right.
Prosecutors. Ghosts demand recognition as an endangered species, but if they were once humans, is this double counting? Go.
So you're saying that they don't.
No, we're the defendants.
Yes, you
So
guys are
you're
saying
the
they should.
You're the lawyer. Well, yeah, you would go first. Accusers. Yes, that's what I thought you were frustrated.
Yeah, you guys are
What do you
paranormal.
gotta do
You
next?
guys are Paranormal
Yes, accuse
Conservation
us of it.
Society. They are humanity.
We are ghosts if we're the defendants.
Yeah, they're
he's a
the
ghost.
ones defending the paranormal.
See, I'm just the
We're saying
judge.
no.
That's okay.
I'm
That's
just
okay.
the judge.
We average stuff together.
You can ask him what it means more.
So,
Double counting is it? Should we elaborate on this one?
should we recognize ghosts as an endangered species? There's so few ghosts, or should they be considered human since they were once alive?
Double counting, are they still just the person they were?
Do they still
technically?
fall under human rights because
I'm sure.
You're saying that they should not be getting
All right.
new rates on top of that, yeah, as ghosts. 'Cause,
Yeah, you guys are on the
there
side
you
of
go.
humanity. They are
got
just-
this.
Absolutely.
All right, we've got our side established.
Yes, 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 yes. You don't want
Yay!
to.
I was gonna say is your head person
Well,
anyways, how could it be double counting?
Ghosts,
But that's like,
they are
that's what they
no
should
longer
say.
alive. You see, they're floating beings. You can't even see them. Words are defended. Like he's not even there. How does he
Objection,
have any right?
objection.
Okay.
I see ghosts.
You can.
I don't see anything.
Where?
You don't see anybody sitting next to me right now?
No.
I don't.
Why would I?
There's nothing there.
Why are we here then?
I don't know. You brought us here because you can apparently see them. How can you see them?
I've been able to see him since I was a kid. Third eye.
Third
You
eye?
can't see it, it's covered by the tie.
Can't show us though.
Mm-mm.
Too blinding.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Well, how can you describe them, or how can they account to this as society?
Well, they scare people. They can move things for you. Ever seen something move randomly?
No.
Couldn't explain it.
Can you explain? Or just give me some backstory on that.
Like, come on.
I think at that point.
If you consider them endangered, wouldn't that mean we would have to start killing more people to make more ghosts, to make them less endangered? Oh, I don't want that. Just argued against
Objection?
myself. Just
Question
argued
mark?
against myself.
Objection?
Friendly fire.
You have the
need
wrong
to-
side.
Fire.
Judge, can we get you in on this?
I think your paperwork might be mixed up
Yeah.
with Ethan.
So let's bring this back around.
So
then.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Let's try this again now.
try this again. Why do you
wrap
think
this back.
ghosts should not be part of an endangered species?
I think you might be part schizophrenic.
Been
You're
told that
seeing
before.
things. Oh, really?
Yeah. No professional opinions.
No professional, just your own thoughts?
Mm-hmm.
You could believe that you are seeing your ghost, but not actually seeing them? Or are you sure?
Can I
he's
object?
there?
Yes. Come
I would,
ask
if
your
if
lawyer.
you died and became a ghost, wouldn't you want to stick around and keep an eye on maybe your family or loved ones?
How do
Make
I
sure
know-
they're okay?
How do I know if ghosts are real?
Well, you could
Because I've
kill
never
yourself
seen-
to
I've
find
never
out.
Okay.
Whoa.
Let's not do suicidal
All right,
ideation.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Objection.
Sorry, Your Honor.
Objection.
Have you ever tried to go get some professional help on that
Yeah.
for your
Schizophrenia?
Where's your proof?
I told you I don't have anything in writing.
Nothing?
No.
Oh, no?
Mm-mm.
No
It's all
statistical
from-
No
reading?
official
All-
diagnosis,
all
I
from
should
your-
say.
All from your mental note?
I read a couple things on Twitter.
Do you have any statistics
the
though
most,
about
the most
ghosts?
credible of resources.
No.
No? It's
No,
not?
no.
Yeah. I mean, I could pull out an EMF reader and see if we get any electromagnetic frequencies,
You
but
got
I don't.
nothing like that with you to defend yourself?
No, no.
Nothing? Just going all off the dome.
Yep.
Alrighty.
It was pretty hard to communicate with my client, seeing as he's a ghost, so I
Naturally.
couldn't really get his side of it.
And we're sure there's a client here.
Yeah.
You're positive.
I mean, the chair's moving, so.
I
Could be the
I haven't
wind.
noticed. Yeah,
The
could be the
wind.
wind.
you're
Must have been the wind.
We're all outside here.
right.
How, see.
Yeah, I was gonna say, any defense there?
Okay,
I think
let's.
we lost you. Sorry, I think we lost you guys.
Ethan, I'm so sorry, but you.
That was a horrible defense. I think we know who won that
But
one.
you literally started. You went through the wrong side. So
Shot
like I
yourself
have
in
to
the
give
foot.
it to
Like I said, I
humanity.
wasn't able to
I
confirm
know,
with
I
my
had to like
client.
chime in
Killed
there.
me
I'm
and
like,
my
guys,
entire
come
ghost
on.
family.
I was trying to like
with the
give you
issue
guys
with
a
Discord.
line by being like evidence, with like the paranormal. Come
Yeah.
on, guys. I was like, I don't know if I'm
I
allowed
know,
to
then
be
we started
talking.
talking about mental illness.
Right.
I'm like, whoa.
I'm like,
okay.
wouldn't he be like,
Right.
couldn't you
All
be
right.
schizophrenic?
You see ghosts are
One-
schizophrenic.
More.
Could
so,
be.
All right. We don't have another one, and
Religion.
No
we just
more?
have those.
Just those two?
Yep,
So I'm
just those two,
assuming,
because
did
we
we win,
took a lot of
Judge,
time for
or-
this. Probably could have gone shorter, but what?
Yes,
That's us.
because
I think we
you guys broke like one more time than them, and so you end up with 1 point. You guys end up with 0.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
We win.
I told you.
Absolutely.
I
Would you guys like to
Told
take the stage for a winner speech?
Oh gosh.
Dinner speech?
Hear ye, hear ye. I don't know.
Hooray. We won.
Well, thank you very much for joining us. Next week, we will be issuing our final show, and it will be under the title Slideshow. Thank you for watching No Breaks Allowed, and we'll continue to our next show.
Thank you.
Hello! Welcome back to Eli's regular game show. Last week we had our guest guess my favorite musical artist. This week he'll be just guessing a bunch of Pokemon. Come on in, Tyler.
Thanks.
Thank
you.
Welcome.
Hi.
Nice to see you. You might want to.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's okay. I'm used to this, I swear.
Oh, okay. Well, before we actually get into this, we were actually lucky enough to get a sponsor for the stream. And
What do we get?
let's show our sponsor. On camera.
On camera?
Yeah.
Sponsor on camera?
Do they not have a...
Oh boy.
Did it not work?
I love that sponsor. That sponsor's great.
It didn't work?
Oh.
Well, okay, I guess they canceled the sponsorship.
Happens to the best of us.
Sometimes. Well, let's just get right into the games. Today, I'll put this down here. Instead of guessing what they are, you probably want to come over here.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Guessing what they are, you will have the 10 names in there. You can pick up that folder there. And you will have to match them.
Oh, you've given me names.
Yes, I
You've
did.
Messed up.
So now you just get to choose which ones go where. You have to figure this out. You got this. And because Pokemon is so rad, they have this thing called a shiny form.
No way.
So you have
Who would have thought?
you get 3 extra bonus points. So a total of 13 points, but you
Okay.
need 10 to win.
So, when do you want me to start?
You can start whenever you're ready.
Oh, fair enough.
Is it not?
We're gonna start here.
What was that? Oh, you're going. There we go. Okay. Oh, all right. Holy. Oh. Wow.
This is the shiny.
Who are the other 2?
Oh, which are the other 2 shinies?
Yeah, do you know?
This would be this one, and I'm pretty sure this one.
That was insane. I was not expecting that from you. For not knowing any artists last week.
That's okay. That's okay. This is where my specialties lie.
Ooh, I did not know your specialties.
Yeah.
Well, that was insane and way better than I ever thought would happen. But you know, that's what happens on the game show. Anything can happen.
Yeah, anything and everything.
Well, it wasn't this.
It wasn't that
was
one.
This.
Oh, of course.
Because
That was my
Gengar,
best
because
guess.
it's terrible. Because it looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
as a
it was
normal.
it was a gamble on because it was just one of those. I'm assuming that was just one of them.
Yep. Well, you made 12 out of 13 points, so you will win the prize.
What do I get?
Of this paperclip.
Let's go!
There
Do I
you
get anything
are.
else?
Nope, that's all.
Okay.
Well, we
okay with
lost our
this.
sponsor, so that's
Oh,
what you
that's why.
that's what you
why
get for today.
This is so sad.
Well, that will do it for my game show for this week. See you guys next time for next week. Oh,
We're sticking around.
There.
back to Simply Sweets. Today we're going to be making snickerdoodle cookies. These are going to be pretty simple. They're kind of like sugar cookies almost, but with a little bit extra cinnamon and sugar. So we're going to start off today with our butter. This is recently melted, a little bit more solid now, but this is going to be, you want this melted and cooled down a little bit, so that way it's not too hot. So that way when you add your egg in later, it will not cook your eggs because you do not want that. You do not want scrambled eggs in the middle of your cookies. Next, we're going to add our sugar. This is some granulated sugar and brown sugar. When you're measuring your brown sugar, you want to make sure you keep it packed to have a nice, good amount of brown sugar mixed in. You don't want light. You want the measuring cup fully filled with the brown sugar. And you also don't really want to use cane sugar for your white sugar because cane sugar still has a little bit of that molasses in it. And since we're using brown sugar and granulated sugar, you kind of want a good balance between the two. So using cane sugar might not be ideal. You can make it work, it just won't be exact. And in baking, you kind of want everything to be exact. So you're just going to combine your butter and sugars to a nice kind of semi-sugar dough. And then you're going to add your egg. This is just one large egg in the recipe. So just add this in, get this nice fully incorporated. And of course, as I said before, you gotta make sure your butter isn't too hot. Otherwise, you may end up cooking this egg as you add it, which is not ideal at all. So once you get that fully incorporated, you're going to want to get your dry ingredients. Now these you want to whisk together to incorporate some air to the recipe. Keep it a little light. This is going to be baking soda and salt and flour. We're just using regular plain old white flour today. And you can do this in a nice stand mixer. Just keep it on low. Make sure the flour doesn't go everywhere. And you just kind of combine these until you get your full cookie dough. And like I said, this is kind of like a sugar cookie, so it's going to be a very dry dough. But once you're at this point, you can probably start preheating your oven to 400. You don't need to start doing it right away when we're making this recipe, just because once we're at this point, you're going to let your cookie dough sit for a little bit for 30 minutes at room temp. Just let it come together a little bit more. Make sure that butter starts to cool off a little bit more, solidify a little bit more to make more of a firm dough. And once your 30 minutes are up, you're actually going to mix together some cinnamon and sugar into this nice mixture. It's pretty heavy on cinnamon. The recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of sugar to 4 teaspoons of cinnamon, which seems like a lot, but it gives it a nice flavor. And then you can take, normally I'd use like a cookie scoop, or you can use like a tablespoon, and you're just gonna ball up the dough. Once you've let it sit, it's gonna be a little bit more solid than it is right now, but you can just kind of roll it together, create a nice ball, and you can just drop it into your cinnamon sugar mix, shake it up a little bit, and then you'll get this nice coated cookie ball. And you're gonna put that on the pan, bake it for 9 minutes, and then you're gonna once you pull the tray out of the oven, you're gonna let the cookie tray sit out for 3 minutes. The residual heat then will finish cooking the cookies, and they'll spread out a nice even layer, and they'll have a nice crumbly cracked top to end up looking just like this. Make a nice crispy but soft snickerdoodle cookie. And that's all for this week on Simply Sweets. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, and welcome back to Pulling on Plastic. In the past, I talked about bouldering and rope climbing. So today I'm going to talk to you about the different way climbing, grading for bouldering and what's called trad climbing or rope climbing. And I'll tell you a little bit about the American system, the French system, and the very strange British system. So for America, there's two different ways that you grade climbing. One's the Yosemite decimal system, and that's for rope climbing. It starts at 1 to 4, which is for hiking, with 4 being hiking with minimal climbing involved, and 5 is rock climbing. So you might see at a bouldering gym or at a climbing gym a 5-5, which basically is essentially a ladder, just straight up with easy holds. And the next one for American climbing is for bouldering. It's the V scale or Vermin scale. It's named for someone whose nickname was Vermin. I can't remember his name offhand. And that starts at VB and goes all the way up to the highest outdoor is V17. And only maybe 3 people have climbed that hard. And at most climbing gyms, they'll be color graded. So at the one I climb in, Odyssey Climbing in Green Bay, it's usually a pink is for the easiest, which would be VB and V0. And it'll go all the way up to black, which is V10 and above. I haven't seen much above a V12 in a climbing gym, but I can't go much above a V1. So, and then in France, they have what's called the font system, which is named for a climbing area as well called Fontainebleau, I think. And that starts at it's just 4A plus, 4A minus, 4A for difficulty. And that, I think, goes up to 9A being the hardest right now, or 9B. And then the British system is similar to the font system, except it adds difficulty of the climb. So, for example, it could be 4A VD, which means very difficult, or you could go 8A E8A, I think, which is extreme, which means you could possibly die and run out of your gear. So it's informative, I guess. And so when you're in a climbing gym, there are different style of climbing holds that mimic what you'll see outdoors. So for example, the easiest one, the one that'll be on the VBs and 5.5s are called jugs. And it's essentially like a handle for a milk jug. It's how easy it is to hold on to. And there's also slopers, which essentially like a ball that you have to figure out how to hold on to. Usually it's how you position your body around the hold that makes it easier. I struggle with that one all the time. I try to avoid it as much as possible. And then you have pockets, which are essentially just like holes that you put your fingers in. It could be 2-finger, 3-finger, 1-finger. Those are fun, I'll admit. I like those. And then one of the harder ones is called a crimp, which is essentially just like a ledge that you can only fit the pad or half pad of your fingers onto. And the outdoors, you want to grab it like this. Indoor, which is called a full crimp. This is a half crimp, which is better on your fingers. It won't strain your tendons as much. It just comes down to which you rather do. But in a gym, it's strongly suggested you don't do full crimp. And then the route setters can position the holds anyway. So you could have a jug that's turned like upside down, so it's like an undercling, or or another one I forgot, which is called a pinch, where you just pinch it. Those are also fun holds, but they're really bad on your forearms, especially if there's a lot in one route. And those can be side pulls, which is like pull to the side. It's fun. And now when reading a route, you have to figure out which hold you're using. So if it's a V0 or a 5-5, it's always going to be a jug, and everything's going to be pretty much ladder-like, easy, very simple. And then you can go to like, if you see like a jug, but it's turned sideways slightly, or maybe there's two kind of off to the same side, then you have to figure out which one goes with which hand. Usually if it's on your right, it's for your right hand. If it's on your left, for your left hand. But sometimes they'll get tricky and turn them so it's awkward to grab with the same side hand, so you might have to cross over. And that's basic reading, start to finish on a hold. Just look at the route, figure it out. And that's part of why climbing's so fun. It's the problem solving you have to do. But next, I'll throw to a video of me trying a V1 for the first time in a very long time. For this climb, I did a V1 for the first time in a while. And I didn't read the route properly ahead of time. And I sort of guessed, and as you can see, I got kind of lost on the wall. I was looking for holds, so I fell. The second route, after a few more tries and watching someone else do it, I was able to figure it out and more successfully do my foot switch. And then after that part, it was basically like climbing a ladder for me, as you can see. All right, so there was that. And the easiest part of a rock climb to forget, because you're focused on your hands, is the footholds. So first, you want to see where they're positioned in relation to the handholds, and if they're what's small chips, which are really hard to step on, you have to do what's called edging, which is like the side of your shoe against the hold. Or sometimes they're bigger, and sometimes if there's not enough, you have to figure out, do you just put your foot on the wall, or do you what's called flagging, which is putting one foot off to the side. But once you have that figured out, you'll be able to send or climb many routes. And with that, usually I talk about a documentary of rock climbing. This time I'm going to give you two channels that I like a lot on YouTube. The first one is called Rock Entry, and the host is named Ozzy, and he often, it's just his journey, but he does give a lot of good tips for climbing, like foot positioning and hand and holding, and just he'll also give breakdowns of why he chose one climb or grab one way instead of another. It's very helpful. And one of the cooler things about Ozzy is that he also has a deal with a shoe company called Mad Rock. So he has his own shoe out, which is pretty cool for a YouTuber. And the next YouTube channel is called Mellow, and it's basically hard climbing, meaning you get V15s, V14s, 515s, and it has some of the world's best climbers, obviously, like Sean Bailey, pictured there, Will Bosey, and my personal favorite climber, Sean Rabitou, among many others who send in videos. It's basically a skate video, but for climbing. And there's some really amazing footage on there. And that's all I have for this week. I'll see you next time, and keep climbing.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Music Outcast Adventures. I'm Alec. You may know me as the Music Outcast online. And today I'm going to be talking about my song Tension, which is also in a video game. And you might be thinking, what the hell is this video game called? This video game is called Arms 3. You can find it on Steam, on PC only. It's made by a friend of mine called Slay No More, and you can find his channel on YouTube, and I think he streams on Twitch with it as well. He DM'd me one time and said he wanted kind of a spooky soundtrack song, and so I came up with a song called Tension, where it's got like this little video game soundtrack-ish thing. And it's going to be in his credits at the end of the video game, or whatever he plans on doing with all that stuff. And I had a lot of fun with it. It was one of my first songs that I've made as a commission, I guess. So it was very fun, and I enjoyed it, and I know he enjoys it as well, and he loves it. And I do have a video that I will be showing here, the official music video for Tension, so we'll get to that right now. The video was also made by my friend Slay No More. Those were some clips that he clipped during his streams. Like I said, you can find them on Twitch and YouTube, and he said I can use those clips for the music video. And what you heard as far as the music was the actual song called Tension. And that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you next time.
Hello, welcome back to Compact Disc. I'm Fuchi Vang, and today I'll be showing you more CDs that I own. So the first one that I have is 9 Inch Nails, The Downward Spiral. This album was released in 1994, and 9 Inch Nails is an industrial rock band, so it's very, they have very noisy sounds, and I like them. My favorite song on the album is Hurt, and there's another one, I forgot the name. But a cool thing about this case here is it actually slides out, and the disc is right here. And I think this case is pretty unique and pretty cool. The next CD that I'm going to show is In Rainbows by Radiohead. This isn't actually my favorite album from Radiohead. My favorite album from Radiohead is either OK Computer or The Bends. But this is also a pretty good one. This album was released in 2007, and it is their 7th studio album. My favorite song on here is Jigsaw Falling Into Place and Body Snatchers. This case is also unique because it actually opens from the back, and it opens like this. So there's all the stuff inside, and I just think this case is really unique. And a little fact about In Rainbows is that it has a second EP that was released like later after it. I don't know why they released it after, but it's whatever. All right, the next album is M38's Hurry Up, We're Dreaming. This album split into 2 albums. It was released in 2011, and it's a pretty medium thickness of case, and it opens like this, and yeah, the two albums right there. And my favorite songs on here are Intro, Midnight City, My Tears Are Becoming a Sea, and Wait. It's a pretty good album, but it's a long listen, so you have to sit through a lot. This one, this is an oldie. This is the Beatles' White Album, and this is also very, very thick casing. This album was released way back in 1968, and my favorite songs on here are Back in the USSR, oh yeah, Helter Skelter's on here, and the last track, Goodnight. Goodnight is one of my favorite tracks on here, and yeah, I need to listen to more Beatles albums in the future. Finally, for the last album, is Mac DeMarco's Salad Days. This album was released in 2014, and it is the second studio album made by Mac DeMarco. Some favorite songs on here that I like are the self-titled track, Salad Days, Goodbye Weekend, and Chamber of Reflection. This case comes in a sleeve like these, and the disc is in this jewel case. The cover is different, which I think is pretty cool. And that's pretty much it for my discs that I'm showing today. Tune in next week for some more discs that I'm going to show off.